Today we're diving into the Book of Mosiah.
Specifically, chapter 17.
Yeah, chapter 17.
Where we meet this prophet, Abinadi.
A prophet who fearlessly speaks truth to power, no matter the cost.
He stands up to King Noah.
And King Noah has completely abandoned, God's commandments.
Led the people astray.
And into the scene steps Abinadi, this lone voice crying out in the wilderness.
Oh, yeah, it's remarkable. His courage, especially when you consider the power dynamic.
Right.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Standing there before the king, surrounded by guards.
Oh, yeah.
And fearlessly calling out his wickedness.
In Mosiah 17.1-2, we see Abinadi arriving in the city, proclaiming a message of repentance.
Warning everyone about God's judgment.
Yeah, it's like a scene from a movie, this lone figure standing up to the corrupt establishment.
But what makes Abinadi's story so powerful is not just his boldness, but his conviction.
His unwavering conviction.
In Mosiah 17.9-10, when he's threatened with death, Abinadi declares, "I will not recall the words which I have spoken unto you concerning this people, for they are true, and that ye may know of their surety. I have suffered myself that I have fallen into your hands. Yea, and I will suffer even until death, and I will not recall my words, and they shall stand as a testimony against you."
He knew his message was true, and he was willing to seal that truth with his own life.
Powerful.
What are we willing to sacrifice for our beliefs?
Yeah.
It really makes you think,
It does.
What truths are so important to us that we'd be willing to face opposition for?
Or even persecution.
Yeah, and Abinadi wasn't just talking about some abstract truths.
No, he was specific.
He was very specific in his accusations against King Noah and the priests.
Yeah, in Mosiah 17.1-2, and then in verses 7-8.
Yeah.
He calls them out
Direct
for their wickedness, their idolatry, their exploitation of the people.
He was shining a light on the darkness.
Exposing that corruption.
You can imagine how King Noah must have felt. Verse 11, we see a flicker of fear, right?
Ooh, yeah.
He's inclined to release Abinadi, maybe sensing some guilt or fearing divine retribution.
But then, in verse 12, the priests step in.
They know their power and influence are threatened.
They got to protect their power.
They manipulate the situation.
Accusing Abinadi of treason.
And they further enrage the king.
That's how they sealed his fate.
It's interesting, isn't it, how this interplay between King Noah and the priests in Mosiah 17.11-12.
It reveals a lot.
About power.
And influence.
They use their authority to control the narrative.
Silence anyone who disagreed.
Abinadi, though.
He refused to be silenced.
Even in the face of imminent death, he continued to speak truth to power.
He understood his allegiance was to God.
Not any earthly authority.
Powerful.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? For us today, as we navigate a world where truth is so often contested and manipulated,
we need to be able to discern truth from falsehood.
Stand up for what we believe in.
Even when it's unpopular. And as we delve deeper into this chapter, into Mosiah 17,
we see a stark contrast between those who embrace Abinadi's message and those who reject it.
Like in verses 13-19.
Yeah, we witness his tragic death.
Condemned to die by fire.
Yet even in his final moments, his faith doesn't waver.
No.
He offers a powerful prophecy.
A final prophecy.
Warning of the consequence.
For those who persecute believers.
And he ultimately declares God's vengeance upon those who destroy his people.
Chilling.
It is chilling.
But powerful.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about his unwavering faith and belief in God's justice.
In verse 19, even facing unimaginable pain, he remained steadfast, uttering these powerful words. Thus God executed vengeance upon those that destroy his people. O God, receive my soul.
Truly inspiring.
It is inspiring.
Speaking to the depth of his commitment to his faith.
But this story isn't just about Abinadi.
No, it's not.
There's another character who emerges in these verses. Alma,
a young man who, amidst all this chaos and fear,
chooses to believe Abinadi's words.
He does.
In verses 2-4, we see Alma pleading with the king to spare Abinadi's life.
Risking his own safety.
To stand up for what he believes.
Now that's remarkable, considering he was one of King Noah's priests.
He was.
He could have easily dismissed Abinadi, ignored his warnings.
And continued to benefit from that whole corrupt system.
But he didn't.
He didn't. He chose to listen, to believe, and to act.
And his actions had profound consequences.
They did.
Even though he was cast out for his belief in Abinadi, Alma didn't abandon his newfound faith.
No. He went on to play a pivotal role in preserving Abinadi's teachings.
A beacon of light.
In a society shrouded in darkness.
It's a testament to the transformative power of faith.
He went from being part of the problem to becoming a catalyst for change.
Yeah. his conversion, his ministry.
It really shows us that even in the darkest of times,
That a single spark of faith
we can ignite a flame.
that illuminates the path for generations to come.
The contrast between Alma and King Noah in Mosiah chapter 17 is striking.
Very strong.
While Noah clung to his power and rejected the truth,
Alma embraced the message of repentance and chose to follow God.
even when it meant facing persecution.
This contrast underscores the importance of individual choice.
Yeah, we all have the agency to choose how we respond to truth.
We can harden our hearts or open ourselves to the possibility of change.
And that choice has profound implications, not only for ourselves.
But for the lives of those around us.
Alma's decision ultimately led to the salvation of countless souls.
While Noah's rejection led to destruction,
It's a reminder that our actions have consequences,
not only for ourselves,
but for those who come after us.
our choices today shape the world we leave behind.
It's easy to admire Abinadi's and Alma's courage. But it's different when you think about what we would do if faced with similar circumstances.
All right, would we have the strength?
To stand up for what we believe in, even when it meant risking everything.
It's a question that challenges us to look inward,
To examine our hearts.
our commitment to our beliefs.
What truths are so fundamental to us that we be willing to face opposition?
Or even persecution.
And it's not always about these grand acts of martyrdom.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the quiet, everyday choices.
Them all things.
Choosing honesty over convenience or kindness over judgment.
Staying true to ourselves.
When the world pressures us to conform.
True faith is not passive, you know? It requires action.
Even when it's difficult.
It's about aligning our beliefs with our behaviors.
Living our faith authentically every single day.
Every day.
And that's where Abinadi's story in Mosiah 17 serves as such a powerful inspiration.
It does.
It's a reminder that we all have a role to play.
In standing up for truth and righteousness,
No matter how small our actions may seem.
the ripple effect of faith is truly remarkable.
It is.
I mean, think about it. Abinadi's unwavering commitment inspired Alma,
Right.
whose ministry touched the lives of countless others,
And then they went on to influence their families, their communities.
with generations to come.
It's like a chain reaction.
One act of courage
Setting in motion a cascade of positive change.
that reverberates through time.
It's encouraging, isn't it?
It really is.
It reminds us that our choices matter.
That even small acts of faith can make a difference.
We need to live our lives with intention.
Be deliberate in our choices.
Strive to be a force for good.
And this story doesn't shy away from the reality of suffering.
No, it doesn't.
Abinadi endured unimaginable pain for his beliefs.
Alma faced rejection and persecution.
And yet, their faith didn't waver.
No, it didn't.
Their stories teach us that faith doesn't shield us from hardship.
But it gives us the strength to endure it.
It gives us a perspective that transcends our immediate circumstances.
Reminding us that there's a bigger picture
A divine plan.
that we're a part of.
And that's a powerful message of hope,
It is.
no matter what challenges we face.
What trials we endure.
We can draw strength from the examples of those who have gone before us.
Those who have shown us what it means to live with faith, courage, and unwavering conviction. It's important to connect these ancient stories to our own lives.
Oh, absolutely.
The challenges that Abinadi and Alma faced, they might seem distant.
But the principles they embodied,
They're timeless.
they are.
They call us to examine our own convictions.
And ask ourselves, what are we willing to stand for?
Where do we find that inner strength
That unwavering faith.
that allows us to face our own trials with courage and integrity?
Abinadi's willingness to die rather than deny God's commandments.
In Mosiah 17:20,
Where it says, having been put to death because he would not deny the commandments of God, having sealed the truth of his words by his death.
it's a powerful reminder that our beliefs should shape our actions.
Not the other way around.
We're constantly bombarded with messages that challenge our faith,
Our values.
our sense of self.
It's easy to compromise for convenience or acceptance.
But Abinadi's story, it reminds us
That there are things worth fighting for,
truths worth defending.
even when it's hard.
And Alma's transformation, what does it show us?
It shows us it's never too late to change.
To realign our lives with God's will.
His decision to embrace Abinadi's message, even when it meant losing everything.
It's a testament to the power of faith.
It reminds us that we can all grow, change, choose a better path.
The stories of Abinadi and Alma in Mosiah 17, they're not just stories.
They're invitations.
Invitations to dig deep.
To examine our hearts.
To find that place within us
where faith and courage reside.
And we're not alone in this.
No, we're not.
We have the examples of those who came before,
Who showed us what it means to live with conviction
to stand up for what's right.
and to let our faith be our guide.
Thank you for joining us today.